So, all right, today I want to show how to debug the Smart Aquaculture platform on your own computer with VSCode. This is installed with the Computate Smart Cloud Deployer and Computate Smart Website Builder. So I'm going to run the code next. I can run it here. Smart Aquaculture. Let's see, I wonder why it's suddenly giving me this problem. I don't know, but if I fix it, I click that and it should run. Let me clear terminal. All right. Home page. So I want to show you how the home page works. I have this link to access my site. Oh, let's see. The static content's not working. Let me debug this. View page source. Let's see if this exists. Yes. I think that the variables are confused right now. Bars.py grep components. So it says web components prefixes WebAwesome WA dash. If I check the static vars, then static path is this. And those exist. So what is failing to load? Let's see, network, delete. I think it's failing to load WebAwesome. View page source, WebAwesome. Okay, but WebAwesome is something that's going to be released later this month. Um, it- I'm currently a backer for it, so it gives me access to really cool web components. But what we're using in the meantime, the free version is Shoelace. So what I want to do is reconfigure my site to use Shoelace, and that's what other people are using. So let me, and that's why it's confused here, because this is actually a link to Shoelace, but it's saying the web components prefix is wa. So what I need to do is oc ed-n smart aquaculture edit secret font awesome. And oh yeah, so we do web components prefix sl dash, oops, that should be string data. Save that. Let's see. Web components prefix. Oh, git pull. Let me check the vars here. Vars.yaml, web components, prefix. Oh, yeah, we need to adapt this. This is not up to date with the course that I'm presenting at the Red Hat Summit. So what we've defined there is some different vars. Vars.yaml, web components. Here's what the web components prefix looks like there. So I'm going to copy this whole section and replace this one with that. And then if we search for components, oh, we get an error. Site theme is missing. So what we actually need is the font awesome secret, which includes all of these things. Default. Overlay vars. So site theme dark. Oh, that's it's actually a mistake. Let's see. Site theme. Um, SL dash. I'm going to do that for now. Let's try this again. Let's see, that doesn't look right anymore. Let me do this more carefully. What else? Some secret. All right. So this is an Ansible template. Um, got some. Components prefix, web components secret. I don't even have that one in here. Web components JS, web component CSS. Let's see, I'm gonna exit Slack because it's kind of distracting. Um, Font Awesome Kit, Font Awesome Style, site theme. And then those are supposed to query a secret called Font Awesome, but I need to make sure that all of those are in there. So this is the shoelace secret. Where did I just edit that secret? OC-N Smart Aquaculture, edit secret, font awesome. So it always puts the data in base64 encoded. And if we want to add or change values, then we have to add a section called string data colon. And here's where we can put the other stuff. So what's missing is Font Awesome Kit, we're going to leave blank. Font Awesome Style, we want that to be a default of Font Awesome Duotone, Font Awesome Regular, although we don't actually have the icons, so it doesn't really matter here. And then site theme, I'm going to do dark. And what else? We have the web Font Awesome Kit, the web components CSS, the web components JS pointed to shoelace. Web components secret is font awesome. All right. Sure. / vars grep components. Oh, we still have a problem. Oh, I'm in the wrong VS Code. Component secret. This should be font awesome. And then this should be web components secret. And these I'll put in double quotes. Oh, these ones. These ones are trickier. So we're going to do some multi-line YAML for these instead of double quotes. We do that. If you're new to YAML white space, I recommend searching Google for YAML white space. Let's see, YAML multi-line white space. And there's this cool YAML multi-line editor that explains it. Basically, if you have new lines in your YAML and you have this replace new lines with spaces folded, it's a greater than sign. Then these lines all get put onto one line here. It replaces new lines with spaces. And then you can keep new lines literal, and then they all have their own lines, and that's a pipe symbol. And if you want to add a single new line at the end, well, if you want to remove the new line at the end, then you add a minus sign, or all new lines from the end to keep is the plus. So I usually do minus to take off the new line at the end. And then you can get extra fancy by changing the amount of spaces. To say if your text is actually supposed to have spaces, then you can change the indent of spaces. It's pretty useful. Here, we're chomping the new line at the, or we're making everything be on one line and chomping the new line at the end. So hopefully that works better. Let's see. Yes. Okay. What we have here is the link to Shoelace CSS and the link to Shoelace JavaScript. And the web components prefix Shoelace SL dash and the web component secret font awesome. And that looks good. Grep font awesome. That's blank. Okay. Grep static. Okay, the static path is pointed to the Shoelace resources, so that's good. Now let me run this. Run, debug, fix, site, clear. Good. That looks good. Now we'll refresh here, see what we get. Okay, this looks a lot better. Now that we have this, I want to make sure we have the latest JavaScript generated. So I go back to VS Code and open a terminal. Journal CTL. This what allows me to look at logs in the system. And I want to look at the logs for the code that watches the smart aquaculture project for code changes. I do journal CTL and then space dash dash user. That lets me check user systemd services. Actually, let me show you this first. If I cat my home directory slash dot config systemd user, you see all these code generation services I have running. Actually, not all of them are running, but some in the past. Smart, no, they all start with the word watch dash smart aquaculture.service. This is what a systemd service looks like. It has a unit section and you give it a description. And then you put after equals default target, at least if it's a user service, then this works really well. Service type is simple. This means that it's a service that doesn't stop running and it's simple. We try to keep things simple. The working directory, this service unit was generated by the Computate Smart website builder automatically. And it jumps into the working directory, my home directory .local src smart aquaculture by default. And it sets some environment variables for the site name, site prefix. I forget what that's for. Site path to the project that we're watching code, and the path to the variables. And the path to the Computate project for code generation, the path to Computate Vertex for internationalization data, and the language of code that we're generating, which is English US. And it's possible to generate code in French France, but we're not doing that now. And it runs this command in the Computate project to watch code for changes based on these environment variables. And we give it lots of process file watching limits so that it can watch the code effectively. And if it fails, it restarts and it's wanted by default target. This sets up a service that's always running on my computer. And if you look at journal CTL dash user dash unit, let's see, actually, journal CTL user unit watch smart aquaculture dash F, then it's watching the code. All right, so then I'm watching it for changes. It doesn't look very happy right now, but that might be because I just restarted my computer and it wasn't running OpenShift local. So let me show you how to restart this. You do systemctl dash dash user restart watch smart aquaculture, and then we'll watch the logs. It says started, watch computate app and generate code. And now it's watching, and it's also set up to index the code when it begins. Although I'm probably going to change that. In fact, I think I already did. So what I want to do instead is this. I want to I want to edit this. I want this to run watch now instead, which isn't going to index the code again because we don't need it to be re-indexed. Well, maybe we do, but sometimes we don't because it takes a long time. So this should be set up to watch now. So I'm setting this to watch now, but if I try to restart the service, it's going to complain. It says the unit file, source configuration file, or drop-ins of watch smart aquaculture.service changed on disk. And you got to run this to reload the units. So we run this systemctl -- user daemon -reload command. And then we can restart the service. And if I go to the logs, journalctl, then it's going to start and watch, but it's not going to index anything, which is good. Although we are trying to do the code generation, so we want to do more than watch. So I'm going to open a new terminal and do within the Smart Aquaculture project, type in generate now.sh. And this is going to regenerate all the code. Git status. Currently let's see, it's updated. We've updated vars.yaml, and what does this change to main vertical? Oh, this is an extra log statement that says access your site here. But this is an exercise I like to give people who are learning about smart aquaculture a chance to add this line. So I'm not actually going to commit it because I want people to learn how to do that. But we are going to update the vars because they were broken before. Looks like we have an extra comment here. No, it's fine. Don't worry about that. But let's see if anything else has changed. Actually, yeah, there's a bunch that's changing with the latest code generation from the Computate project. Also, let's see, a local src smart aquaculture cd / smart aquaculture status. There's a bunch changing in the shoelace templates, which is what I wanted. There's a bunch changing in here as well. The Computate code generation tools are always evolving. So I need to get better at tagging different versions, but let's see what's happening here. So it's adding a new setter. No, it's moving the setter around, apparently. That's the only changes. Interesting. For these date fields. Okay, what's happening here? It's setting up scopes inside of some of the requests that are required. Moving some fields around. Okay. Let's see if it runs. So we managed to regenerate all the code. Let's see if it compiles. Maven clean install. Okay, we got a build success. Good. Now, um, another thing I want to do is rebuild the Smart Aquaculture API. Let's see if this is successful. After you do a Maven clean install, it usually gives me this, and I click fix, and I click project. Oh, let's see. Fix, update project configuration. And then errors should go away. Let me try running this again. There it goes. Okay. It regenerated the OpenAPI spec, it regenerated the database, and it created all the tables and fields in the database, and it applied a bunch of keycloak authorization resources and scopes and permissions, and it's all up to date. So next, we run the site. Fix site. Oh, cancel, stop. I'm going to close this and reopen it, see if it's happier. Close. File, new window. Uh, open folder. SRC, Smart Aquaculture. Open. Run and debug. Smart Aquaculture. Okay, let me do this again. It didn't go away. That's annoying. I wonder what this extra one is. It's causing me problems. But oh well. Now it's running. And go to my site. Smart aquaculture, fish populations. Oh no. Okay. Redirect URI. Um, this this is something that should be fixed in the with the Compudate Smart Website Builder. So I wonder what happened to our realm and client here for Smart Aquaculture. Let's see this. Oh, I know what happened. I I was running the Red Hat Summit scripts in my OpenShift local workbench, and it overrode the redirect URIs. So what I need to do is go to courses. Um, I have my vars set up to point to Smart Aquaculture vars, and I'm going to close all these things. Let's see. Drink Smart Website Builder. Create project realm. I think it's this one. Oh, but I don't have the GitHub client secret on me right now. So I'm just going to do this manually to fix what I broke. I just need to go back, grab this http://localhost:1023.0, and I'm going to put this here. And then you do /logout and /callback. Then I don't need these extra ones. These are the two URLs. When you log in, it goes to Keycloak and you have to put in your username and password into Keycloak. And then if you are successful, then it'll send back a request. It'll redirect the page to this callback URL, and it'll pass along the information about the user and its token. And when you log out, it's a similar process where you go to Keycloak and log out, and then it also logs you out in the site. So with that, if I go to fish populations now, it actually asks me to sign in. Problem is we no longer have an identity provider here. That's too bad. But I can just create a user. Oh, looks like I already have one called user1. So I'm going to sign in user1. Whoops, what's the path? I already have the password one. Sign in. All right. So this is my smart aquaculture system, and I'm able to create. The reason I'm able to create is if I go to user one and go to groups, I have this admin privilege, and if I leave and I refresh the page, then the create button goes away and I can no longer create. But I'm going to rejoin the group admin, and then I can create a fish population. Okay, so I wanted to show you the home page. So if I go to the home page, this is it. If I want to debug the home page, then I got to go to Smart Aquaculture. I'm going to close everything except for this main vertical. And if you go to line 1437, there's this router.get/. This is where it handles the home page. So I'm going to set a breakpoint inside of this try catch and go back to my browser, refresh. It takes me directly here. And so this is a request. How do we show a home page? We can step through this line by line. So it gets a site template path, which is, it figures out where the templates are stored, which is in the Smart Aquaculture static repo /shoelace/templates. And then within that, it finds the enus/homepage.htm. You can find that here as well. Let's see, what I gotta do here is add a folder to workspace. It's Smart Aquaculture static, add. Started anyway. Let's see. Oh, it killed killed our debug session, but it lets us see the homepage template here. It doesn't do a whole lot. It just adds the title of Smart Aquaculture, but we can add something in here like, hello, world. And then restart the application. And we're still going to debug through this. Oh, address already in use. I guess when we had our browser restart, it was forcefully restarted, but it didn't, and it kept the thread going. So I have to type ps space aux grep main vertical, and that finds our process here, our Java process that started the main vertical. And we can kill it by this ID. So we do kill 30628843. And if we do psox again, it's gone. And then we can restart. These are tricky little things that are important to know that you just got to figure this stuff out. Sometimes things go wrong. We refresh the page, we come here, we're accessing this homepage.htm, which is a Jinja template. And so we get the full path together of that homepage.htm, and then we get the resource, or we read the file, and it puts it as a big string, and then we get some page context. If you look at this, it takes the configuration of the site and it gets the static base URL, the site base URL, the GitHub org, the site name, site display name, powered by info, logo, font awesome stuff, web component stuff, site locale, site theme, auth scope admin, auth scope super admin, public search URI, and user search URI, and puts that into a JSON object. And it goes into this context JSON object. And then we render this template. So this is a Jinja template. It also extends base layout.htm. And this is the layout for our site. And it also has a bunch of Jinja variables and blocks and things. It's got JavaScript. It's got a body and div, and it has all of our models. We regenerate this page layout all the time with the Computate Smart Website Builder. And so we render that template, we put it in a Java Vertex buffer, and we set the header to be content type text/HTML. And we end the request with passing in the buffer. And then it renders the homepage. Hello world. There you go. Just wanted to share how the homepage works a little bit. So that's all I have time for today.